and welcome to the Art of Living Well podcast. I'm Stephanie May Potter, and I'm here with my co-host, Marnie Dotches-Marmette.
We created the Art of Living Well podcast to empower you to live your happiest, healthiest, and most authentic life. Each week, we will bring you inspiring and motivating conversations covering health and wellness topics, including fitness, mindset, food, travel, product reviews, and strategies from a variety of experts, including our own bank of knowledge.
We are excited to educate, motivate, and inspire you to change the way you perceive health and discover your art of living well. Get ready to feel inspired.
Hey, Stephanie, I don't know about you. Even though I've been eating pretty healthy during this stay-at-home time and I'm working out, I still feel like I'm drinking more alcohol and eating more chocolate than I normally would. And it's left me feeling kind of, I don't know, almost like blah. And the summer's right around the corner. It's basically here. And I'm so ready for our 7-day summer liver detox.
I am in full agreement, Marnie. You know, I love my daughter and she's a great baker. And now she does it all on her own, except for the cleanup. And we've been doing I'm having a lot of baking, and I can tell from everyone else out there every time I go to the grocery store that it seems like we're in similar positions because all the flour on the shelves are usually gone. So yeah, we're launching our summer liver detox starting Monday, June 22nd through Sunday, the 28th. And what that entails, you're going to get a kit that'll have a daily nutritional support that Marnie and I use in our smoothies every single day for the shakes, and then just 2 different supplements that you take, so it's really easy to manage. And then you'll also get a detox-friendly recipe book that we put together that has a grocery shopping list.
And then there's community support, and there's a chat that everybody, communicates in on a regular basis, and there are daily emails. So head on over to theartoflivingwell.us/7day-detox to sign up. And you can also message us with any questions that you may have. And we really look forward to you joining us.
Yeah, we want everyone to feel great leading into that holiday weekend.
Hello, and welcome to episode 31 of the Art of Living Well podcast. I'm so excited for today's guest. It's Michele Horovitz, and she is one of the co-founders, and she's the executive director of Appetite for Change, which is a nonprofit social enterprise organization that's dedicated to using food as a tool to build health, wealth, and social change. Appetite for Change works with residents to build strong families and healthy, equitable communities around food. They also own and operate Kindred Kitchen, which is a shared commercial kitchen incubator, and Breaking Bread Café, and Catering, which is a youth social enterprise serving the North Minneapolis community. You may remember a couple weeks ago we had Princess Haley on our show, who is the co-founder of Appetite for Change along with Michele, and she did a special bonus episode with us that we recommend you go back and listen to. But today we're going to learn all about Appetite for Change, and we're so excited to have you on our show. So Michele, I've known you since you were a little girl, and I remember coming over to your house to hang with your sister Jen, and you would always be playing upstairs with your toys. And we would head downstairs, and that's kind of all I saw of you when you were a little girl. But now look at you today. You are doing so much, and it's so impressive. And I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit about your background and how you ended up getting started in your nonprofit, Appetite for Change. What was your original inspiration? And I know that you kind of started off your career in law, and then I think you went to culinary school, right? Kind of, or chef school, something with cooking, maybe?
Enrolled, didn't actually complete, okay. But I'll take it.
Okay. And then you kind of dove into the nonprofit, and we really want to know, like, what inspired you and and it seems like you took all of your interests and kind of channeled them into this new organization.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. And it's been quite a while since the days of cutting all the hair off my sister's Barbies and terrorizing her and her friends. I love how Marnie puts it. When you come downstairs, and it's like, yeah, and beg to play with you guys, and like, it's been a while, and I just turned 40, so it's been a reflective time too in my life. But yeah, I started out as a public defender in Miami-Dade County. Then I enrolled in culinary school, didn't go, staged, which just means apprenticed, worked for free for 3 months at a James Beard Award-winning kitchen, took an hourly job there as a line cook and assistant to the pastry chef, then had my first kid with my beautiful husband, and then we moved back to Minneapolis. And I was really sort of disenchanted by the whole criminal injustice system, and feeling like even though I was fighting for justice, I was just fighting an uphill battle. I was the last point in a funnel before someone is locked in a cage or put on probation for 25 years. And that was just a lot of stress mentally, and long hours, and just really tough. So questioning whether or not that was a pathway for me. Also questioning whether I wanted to own a restaurant, seeing my mentor, Michelle Bernstein, and what she went through to get to the level of success that she has, and questioning if that was the life that I wanted, every weekend, every holiday in the kitchen. And just wanting to do good in the world. Was going to make a baby food company, and then I was like, well, but is the end game to sell that to a big giant corporate entity and make a bunch of money? No, that's not really end goal. So I joined the board of a nonprofit helping people do community gardens, giving gardens at their faith-based institution or their corporate entity, or just backyard gardeners, called Gardening Matters. And then I also volunteer cooked and chef instructed for Cooking Matters, which is a national part of a program called Share Our Strength. And it's administered in universities, nonprofits, in places all over the country. But it's hands-on cooking curriculum, and people go home with groceries and the recipe to make the food again. So I was doing that on a volunteer basis, being on the board, paying for really part-time childcare with my 10-month-old at the time. I think he was 10 months. And then wanted to start something in North Minneapolis. My dad grew up there. My community, the Jewish community, had a huge presence there. Most businesses had left, but thinking about all the potential there is around food, and how different the North Minneapolis food landscape, or foodscape as we call it, is compared to where I was living at the time in Uptown. And just wanting to learn more about that and figure out if there was something I could do about that. Also had my blinders on and was like, I'll just teach people how to make baby food from growing their own fruits and vegetables in their backyard. And it turns out that wasn't necessarily, there are a lot of new moms and young women and people with children who want to learn that, but not enough to do a whole program. So we actually, when I met my co-founders, and it was fortuitous how I met both of them, and it's very different, but the three of us just brought people together to cook, eat, and dialogue about the change that they wanted to see in North Minneapolis. And all of the programming at Appetite for Change and all the social enterprise work has really stemmed from those first conversations. We didn't have a strategic plan until 3 years in, because we were like, well, this is our strategic plan. This is what the community said they wanted. So it's been a wild ride. It's been 8 years. And
it's been 8 years?
Yeah, we just celebrated 8 years.
Congratulations.
On February 28th, and we just had a party for ourselves, which is very hard for us to do. We don't have a big culture of celebrating success, which I think is part of my living well, is you got to celebrate the successes. And we had a party at our new restaurant in Union Depot called Station 81, and it was really fun. And we celebrated 8 years and a lot of impact, a lot of pounds of food grown, a lot of people employed, a lot of workshops, a lot of meals.
That's great. That's amazing.
A lot of farmers markets. Thank you.
So how did you build the community in North Minneapolis? How did you...
Well, the community was already there. I have always been the outsider, but I think collaborating with and working with Princess and Tasha, my co-founders, Tasha has 500 community cousins and relatives on the north side. And Princess had been there raising her kids since she was, had come, we like to say she's the refugee from Chicago. Tasha's the struggling vegetarian, and I'm the recovering lawyer. So, but yeah, the three of us, that's kind of our secret sauce, that we just came from different worldviews, different experiences, but shared knowledge and talents and experience and wisdom with each other, and have built something really special.
And what from your background, or just what other influences, I'm curious, have helped and shape and just, I guess, instill the passion that you've had for some of these movements? Because this is quite impressive what you've done.
Thank you.
But have there been, individuals or something in your past, or even just other organizations out there on a more global or national level that helped you create appetite for change?
Yeah, I would say all of those things. I think one of my passions, as I'm reflecting on if I'm living my purpose, which I really do feel like I'm in this workshop to figure out what your purpose is. And I'm like, oh wait, this is my purpose. I'm living it. I've just been living it really, really hard. Living it a lot to the fullest. And I need a little break, which I am taking a little break. I'm excited about that. We can talk more about that. But all of the things that you mentioned, my upbringing and my cultural Judaism, my parents' example, and my community of giving back, of taking care of our communities, taking care of each other, helping others succeed. I mean, I know it goes back biblically, but you set 1/10 of your tidings away to give to people who are hungry. And I think it goes way beyond just the laws of kashrut, keeping kosher and not mixing milk and meat and setting aside land and giving away food. I think there's just something in my in my culture and me being Jewish and the values that were taught in my home and in my synagogue and in my community were, you never know when you're going to be the oppressed population. We've been oppressed for, slaves since we were in Egypt. So, just always looking out for other communities that have the risk of being exploited or marginalized or oppressed is something that I think I learned from the get-go. And great teachers along the way. I was fortunate my mom worked as an administrator at the Blake School, so really fortunate to go there from kindergarten through 12th grade. And Marnie was always a special friend of my sister's because she also went to Blake, and so that was other friends were like, well, I know you, but we had that connection. So I feel like it's a very special community. It's a lot of learning about what else is going on in the world. So being aware of inequities and injustice, I think, has been at the heart of my passion for learning. Studying bioethics and thinking about life and death issues and working in the criminal justice system, growing food with my grandparents, waiting tables for 10 years, all of these things, loving food, loving cooking, loving the art of creating food. When I think you lose a little bit that love when you're working in the industry because you're cooking all the time, every day, all day. So I know a lot of chefs and cooks don't take care of themselves in the kitchen as much, and they maybe end up eating a lot of processed stuff. But the art of cooking is something that's so therapeutic for me, and I'm excited to do a lot more cooking while I'm on my break and tending my garden in my backyard because the raspberries have taken over, I tell you.
Well, it will be a good time of year, hopefully.
Yes.
So maybe...
I was just going to say, before we dig in too far, I don't think we've told our audience what Appetite for Change is.
Yeah, it's a social enterprise nonprofit, which just means that we run like a business. We have products that we sell. We have a catering company called Breaking Bread and a cafe on the north side called Breaking Bread Café. And then we just opened a restaurant called Station 81 in Union Depot in St. Paul. And so all of the revenue generated from selling food, which is when we can sourced from our gardens that we grow on urban farms in North Minneapolis, our youth program does that. And so we use our own food to create delicious, made from scratch meals. And that revenue goes back into our programming. And we do so much. We have cooking workshops called Community Cooks, where that's our flagship program. People still, to 8 years later, coming together to cook, eat, and dialogue. There's our youth employment and training program, and the youth are helping facilitate those cooking workshops, but also, like I mentioned, growing food on 7 urban farms across North Minneapolis, vacant lots, lots owned by other community organizations. And then we operate the West Broadway Farmers Market, which is on West Broadway Avenue, across from the Capri Theater, really close to Penn and Broadway, 1 block off. We do a farmers market every Friday from 3 to 7, we'll be starting in July this year, a little bit later probably than last season. June is tough. We just getting everything out of the ground and want to have like a beautiful, plentiful table when you open. So late June, early July we'll be open. So we also have a shared commercial kitchen incubator, which is called Kindred Kitchen, and food trucks and small businesses making value-added products. In fact, I saw Robin Frank earlier, and Thumb's Cookies started out of, when she moved back from New York, started out of our kitchen and incubated to bigger space. And we have folks like Herbivorous Butcher in Northeast doing amazing meatless meats.
They're on our list.
Yeah.
Okay, well
we would love an introduction.
I can get you that. Avi helps them kosherize their kitchen too, and most of their products. So it's a product that a lot of Orthodox and Jews that keep kosher are like into, and will order online or drive over there to get it, I think. They're cool people. Aubrey and Kale. Kale is his name.
Oh, I love that.
That's awesome.
Okay, how do you do all this? I mean, you just rattled off 10 different...
This is why I need a break.
Yes, and we will talk about that.
It's like 5 different businesses within your organization.
Yeah, we have a $3 million budget.
Well, I missed that.
A $3 million budget.
And so how many people do you have working for you?
Right now we have, I think we have 69 or 70 people on payroll, but it's like ends up being like 40 FTE equivalents, but it's a decent sized payroll. Yeah.
And you're touching so many different people in need, right?
Yeah.
So you've got education, you have the garden to feed them, you've got the incubator kitchen, the training program. It's just a lot. So can you talk a little bit more maybe about, I'm curious about like the training program and how you're really able to impact youth. And we can talk about this rap video that went viral. But like you said early on, when you were a public defender, how can you kind of get proactively address some of these issues that come up later, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was wanting to be more upstream, like as opposed to the bottom of the funnel, be one of the ingredients that goes into the soup, And so our youth program is really fun. Young people, it was created by young people, the teenage children of my co-founders. And we look at it like you meet the young person where they're at. Everyone is welcome. The criteria is show up on time, breathing. Which for teens can be difficult sometimes, but it's a first job. It's learning about food and nutrition and growing your own. It's about finding other young people that are welcoming and maybe different from you, maybe not, but that you can be yourself around. I think that's challenging for most young people in their first jobs. It's hard to really be yourself, but also learn the rigor of showing up and doing a job every day. So we're doing about 25 youth a year in our program. It's a progressive program, so they learn all the basics and then kind of move up and get to become mentors. And then the idea is to hire youth to run, to be our staff. And we do have a couple of young people that have been with us since the beginning that are now staffing the program. And so I think that's one of the things we pride ourselves on, is being community-led, and it's not a savior complex thing or a come and fix it. It's like really community members from North Minneapolis implementing solutions to the issues that they have known they've had for a long time and have wanted to solve, just maybe haven't had the resources to do so.
So do you have to be a member of the North Minneapolis community to participate in your events?
No, everyone is welcome. Community Cooks started out as really find out what people want this organization to be, this program to be, but then people just loved coming together to cook, eat, and talk and learn from each other. It's a popular education model, not like a class. So that just kept going, and so it is primarily North Minneapolis residents that come to our 3 groups: New Moms, Community Night, and Youth. But we do Community Cooks experiences for groups of people, corporate team building, or other organizations that want to do a dialogue with their parents and kids, or their volunteers, or their board. We can do it for book clubs. We can do it for lots of different groups. But the 3 that we offer free in the community are typically folks from the community, and then volunteers, people who want to volunteer at AFC. We encourage them to come first to just participate in Community Cooks like everyone else and learn about the organization, and then see what opportunities come from there. We've had skilled-based volunteers work on spreadsheets and numbers and strategies and portfolio impact. We worked with BCG Consulting. They were incredible. But there's always work to do, boots on the ground in the garden, and got to deep clean that kitchen every week.
So tell us a little bit more about the garden. That was one of the first projects you did, right?
Yeah, it was after Community Cooks. People said they wanted to grow their own food, and there were not a lot of opportunities for community gardens on the north side, although there was a lot of vacant property.
So how did you make that happen?
So we partnered with a neighborhood association that had a flower garden that had kind of let the flowers go to seed. So it was just like really overgrown flowers that nobody was maintaining. There had been a couple of older folks that lived on the block that were taking care of it, but there was only a few of them, and they really weren't it was too much for just a few of them to do by themselves on a volunteer basis. So we asked if we could clean up the lot and build some raised beds and grow some food and keep a lot of the flowers and make it still look nice. It's the Jordan Area Community Council, and it's the Jordan Community Peace Garden, or Jordan Neighborhood Peace Garden. It's on 26th Avenue and Knox.
Okay.
26th Avenue North and Knox. So we just did that the first year, and volunteers and folks who had come to our Community Cooks workshops, just families that lived in the community that wanted to grow food, we offered anybody that wanted to come and help us grow food. So there was just a small group of families, 8 families that came together to grow food in these 6 raised beds. And the young people loved it, and it was, I think, really great experience for people just to see how easy it is to throw seeds in the ground and grow your own food, and in a container. So it's even if you don't own your own land, the container can be small, and it can be, as long as it's facing sun, it can be on a balcony or a front stoop, even if you don't own the property. So that was really fun, and then that grew into, well, maybe we should grow some food and use it in our workshops, or grow some food and sell it, or and then the youth got really entrepreneurial, and we started doing the farmers market table, and the rest is history. We needed more land, so we've started growing on other lots. But
so we both have so many questions. So when you talk about the youth being engaged, I'm curious what ages you're kind of hitting, and how many kids or youth are showing up and doing this, because this is amazing.
Yeah, so we have on our Youth Community Cooks Night, it's 14 to 24-year-olds are all welcome, and we get anywhere from 20 to 50 youth that show up every other Thursday. One night it's at Breaking Bread Café, and one night it's at a church, but twice in each location each month. And then in our employment program, it's about 25 youth we have in the program during the summer. That's gone down to about 12 to 15 during the school year, because a lot of kids do have other things that they're doing, and we also during the year have not had enough hours for young people to have it be their primary job, so they've gone out and gotten a job where they can get more hours. But we have a lot of exciting opportunities in catering and other social enterprise work that we're expanding on that will give more job opportunities to the young people. But to be employed in the program, it used to be 14 to 24, just like our cooking workshops, just like, showing up to the garden. But we've narrowed that down more so to 14 to 18, so the high school age, just to really focus. It was harder the young adults are going through such different things and housing and all other, college and jobs, and it's just a totally different population. So focusing just on the teens that are still finishing high school or enrolling back into high school or getting their GED, like all of those, it's like a little bit more narrowed focus, but more impact in that age group.
Yeah, and can you share?
But in the community night, in the community night at Community Cooks, kids of all ages come with their parents. There's no age limit on community night. And then New Moms is pregnant and moms with kids up to age 5 and their partner or family member or whatever. So so there's like the more Community Cooks families have much younger kids, but the ones in our youth employment program or who come to the youth night of Community Cooks are teens and young adults.
So you're really hitting that whole age span of raising children, which is so awesome.
Yeah.
And just kind of expanding on that, what have you seen or what kind of influences have you seen with the kids and the youth in particular, even the younger families, with getting them engaged? So getting them engaged with the garden and then eating the food that they grow in the garden.
Yeah.
And just getting them hands-on in the kitchen, because I think that can really change the landscape for all of us, right? When you're involved and engaged in the food and the cooking aspect and how it's grown.
Yes.
So I'd love to know more about that.
Yeah, I think that it's human nature, no matter what neighborhood, how much we make, what our background is, we all tend to not prioritize time and resources in the kitchen. It's like food has become super convenient, super prepared, delivered to your doorstep, easy. So the time it takes to get back into the kitchen and really cook and do that as a family and connect is really challenging for any family. And so I think, excuse me. So the obvious outcome of getting kids to plant seeds and see their plants grow and pick the food off the vine and bring it into the kitchen and slice it up at the cutting board and put some olive oil in a pan and saute it up and then taste it, and like that act of seeing your hard work, the reward of your work, but also that it tastes so much better than if you had just gotten it at a restaurant or even at a grocery store. So that's fun for kids, and then I think adults too. Like the more we can get back to the joy of cooking and the joy of being in a teamwork and team collective activity of not wanting the food to taste nasty, not wanting to burn or cut anybody, and having something that tastes good at the end that you can share with family and friends. It's like, it's the ultimate connector. We all feel good when we do that.
Right. And we all need more human connection.
Exactly.
There's a lot of that. And you even talked when you started this interview about how this organization was formed. Was you and your now co-founders, right? All got together over food in the community, and you had a conversation, and you had this, instilled this connection. Yeah. And talked about what the community needed and how you could address those needs. So you're a case in point, I guess.
Yeah.
What can be done.
Yeah. I mean, it's a princessism and it's a little raunchy and you can cut it out if you want, but we all eat. Human beings eat for sustenance, but food is so much more than sustenance. And we all eat differently, and we all have different cultural backgrounds and religious traditions around food and laws and rules and all that. But you know what? It all comes out looking the same.
Absolutely. Everyone poops,
I feel like I can,
right?
Everyone poops. I feel like I can say that on the Art of Living Well podcast.
Say that.
Like it all is what it is. It's the same stuff.
Yep.
Shit, if you will. I don't
Absolutely.
know. Can I say that?
Exactly.
Yes, you can.
We're open here.
So And I know you have the Breaking Bread Café, which is reopening
April 6th.
Which will be open by the time people are listening.
Oh,
to
it's
this
open.
podcast.
Head there now. Get in your car and go to 1200 West Broadway Avenue. There's parking lot in the back, parking across the street at the church, ample street parking, and delicious made from scratch food that really pays homage to the legacy of Black American cuisine in the United States, because it's different and it's interesting to learn about soul food is not just the only food that Black people eat, and Southern is different from soul food, and there's Low Country and Cajun and Creole and all these different cuisines that I think we don't really give their respect. Barbecue, it's different, it's different in different parts of the country.
Yes.
So.
I'm excited to come try it when it opens up.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes. And catering we do all the time. So you can, and actually, if you're listening to this podcast and you mention the Art of Living Well podcast with our catering team, Joffrey or Tiara or Laura, someone will take care of you and give you a 10% off discount on your catering order.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's very generous.
No, do it. You won't regret it. The kale salad and the mac and cheese, you can have a little bit of indulgence and a little bit of
Comfort food. I'm going to bring my kids.
Yes.
Because they'll for sure be wanting the mac and cheese.
Yes.
And maybe a little bit of kale
Yes.
salad. But.
Yes.
And what about Station 81?
Station
So
81, yeah.
Tell us about that too.
Yeah, it's in Union Depot in the like where the light rail is and train station and
In St. Paul.
In St. Paul, downtown St. Paul, the Lower Town neighborhood.
Okay.
Yep. And we were looking to expand our catering operation because it's like the best revenue generating for our, only 40% of our budget is earned revenue. The rest is donations, grants, government contracts, all the normal nonprofit ways of bringing in revenue. So if we can scale catering by 20%, we run like a business. And so we can do that and earn enough revenue to not only create more jobs and have more training opportunities, but support our other programming. We were all about it. So looking for a larger kitchen space, the Union Depot kitchen just kind of fell into our laps. We were lucky to partner with Cascade Hospitality and Ramsey County to take over the lease and become the exclusive caterer of Union Depot. So Breaking Bread had this opportunity to really expand our catering model, and then with it came the opportunity to run the Café, which many of your listeners will remember. It's used to be Christo's, and before that there was a Leanne Chin in there randomly, but then it was Union Depot Bar and Grill for the last year and a half, and Cascade ran that, and now it is Station 81, and Appetite for Change runs it. And we're very excited, and we have a mezzanine for private events, and if you have your wedding or an event at Union Depot, we will work with your team to provide the most delicious, affordable food made from scratch, featuring local ingredients, and in the summertime, produce grown by the AFC youth. So
that's so
Grow
awesome.
Food.
Yes.
Speaking of the viral video, Grow Food, everyone should check that out.
Well,
You
yeah,
literally
so let's
Google,
talk about this
you
video.
literally Google Grow Food. It is the #1 hit on Google for Grow Food.
So I played it this morning for my younger son.
Oh,
He loved it.
I bet.
He was like watching the video.
I bet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
It's
tell us a little bit
got a
more about
great
this.
beat.
What was
how was it
the
created
inspiration
and-
behind that?
The inspiration was finding a creative way for us to tell our story and the work that we do, because a lot of people don't know about Appetite for Change, but do so in a way that was attractive to young people in urban communities, young people in the Twin Cities, young people across the country, about the message around food justice. And we got a grant to do an innovative communications project, and the youth in our program the youth founders had created, one of them had created some lyrics in a cipher circle once at a food justice conference with other youth while they were out of town at this amazing RIC conference, Rooted in Community. And it became a spoken word piece about food justice and about the work that AFC does. And it was performed a few places by the youth, and everyone loved it. that's actually what we performed at our pitch at this United Way event at US Bank Stadium, and that's, I think, why we got voted number one, is because the spoken word piece is just so powerful. Thank you. Yes. And the youth in the program were like, well, we can do something like that. We can do a spoken word piece, or like, we're going to do a whole rap. And like, so they wrote the lyrics, they came up with the concept of the video. We had a $10,000 budget, which was not a lot, but we made it work, and we produced Grow Food and hit it. We dropped it on Give to the Max Day, November 2016, to just be like, we want this to go far and wide, so we might as well drop it on a day where more people are likely to watch it, and then maybe it'll spread. And it did, and we couldn't have imagined, like, celebrities were putting it on Instagram or putting it on social media, and then Watch the Yard did a piece on it, which is like the Black social Greek, like, fraternity and sorority alumni groups. This is a publication that they do called watchtheyard.com. I think it's just digital, but they did a story, and then a bunch of like people who were in sororities and fraternities but who are now like our age or whatever, alumni saw it, and then like showed it to their kids, and then their kids loved it, and then it went viral, and Colin Kaepernick saw it, and I think he's a vegetarian or a vegan, I don't know which one. But he was still figuring out his mechanism of how he's going to donate money from jersey sales, because it was his last year with the 49ers, 2016, 2017, when all the controversy of him taking a knee was happening. And so he was like looking for nonprofits. He saw this video, it was right around Christmas, and he just was like, well, I'm going to choose this organization. So we got like
amazing.
The call on Christmas of like, you're getting a grant from Colin Kaepernick, and it was like insane. But he has honed in really on young people knowing their rights when they're talking to police, and avoiding training and getting rid of police brutality. Really is what he's focused on, and that's a big issue in the youth population in our community. Actually, is interactions with police. So what Colin Kaepernick has focused on is really cool. But I think it's awesome that he was looking at other things. I think he, in fact, funded some Ebola stuff. Like, I know it's like Coronavirus Central. Can you say that? COVID.
Well, hopefully by the time this airs, we're not talking about
hopefully
that.
that'll be old news.
Yes, but anyway, so yes, the video was fun. It was the kids taking over the lunch lady at school and saying, we're going to make healthier, better tasting stuff. And then it's filmed at Breaking Bread Café, so it's and the kitchen, Kindred Kitchen, and then the youth did a follow-up video too called Trap or Grow, and that just dropped in December of this past year, 2019, and that was another youth-led project. They really wanted to talk about, and they did a whole album actually. So Trap or Grow has 5 songs, including Grow Food, so 4 new songs. That's so cool. It's original music, original lyrics, and it's just about healthy living and choices that young people have around food, around mental health, around physical activity, around all these different things, all in one album of the type of music that young people want to listen to. So.
And is that under your organization, or is that separate entity?
Yep. No, the video and the youth performances are not like a moneymaker.
No, I know. I was just curious if you were managing all of that.
Well,
your organization.
Yeah, our organization does. Yeah, our youth program, and getting it up on YouTube. And we have an amazing lawyer, Betsy Butwin Butwinick, who helps us with our...
I was her camp counselor.
I'm sure you were.
Small world.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
She was my camper.
Friedman and I'm sorry. Her law firm is Iverson. Anyway, she does, Betsy does all of our, like, entertainment law stuff, helps us with that pro bono. It's really, really nice of her. Yeah.
So how have you seen these videos kind of, like, they've gone viral and they've had tons of views?
The first one did, The second one is a little less popular, but
that's kind of always the case.
Yeah.
But how do you see them influencing the youth?
Oh, I think the office is a no junk food zone. they're definitely influenced by the attention that they get, and they are then like really proud and confident of the work that they do in the community and the message and the fact that they're ambassadors spreading this knowledge and wisdom to their peers. You know, young people are still going to go to eat McDonald's and go to the corner store and eat junk, like all kids, all teens. But I think they're really a lot more aware of what they're putting in their bodies and what they're eating at home, what their schools are serving them, what our institutions are feeding us, the policy systems and environment that impact, you know, what businesses open in what areas and all of that is.
So that kind of leads into my next question. I'm really wondering how you're breaking stereotypes around health and wellness.
Yeah, I mean, I think I didn't realize how many stereotypes there were going into this work, but like people in the community thinking of farmers markets as something for white people, and or someone being vegetarian and losing weight and that not being culturally aesthetic, to be too thin because you're trying to be a certain way, or that, you know, people with money just eat healthier. Like that's not, I mean, there's a lot of people with money that do not eat well.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
so a lot of these stereotypes, I think, help get broken down when people just come together around food and share their stories and their perceptions and their backgrounds. Like everyone knows what healthy is. Nobody needs to be taught that broccoli is healthy. But if you live in a community where there's very little food access, you maybe don't have an access to a vehicle. So there's a ton of corner stores and you see what's available at those. And then there's maybe one grocery store that you'll Uber to or borrow a car or take the bus to or a taxi. And then that grocery store is not designed the same as other grocery stores around
So
it.
when
Even
you walk in
when
the
you walk in the door,
it's not produce, right?
it's not produce. You walk through a hallway of day-old things, Hamburger Helper, canned goods, sugary stuff, the dollar section. Then you get to the produce, and there's not a ton of local or organic options. The end caps are different. There's, you know, fewer staff. It's not as clean of a store, you know, like, and I'm not dogging on one store in particular. It's been like this for a long time. But North Market opened in the northern part of North Minneapolis, and they're amazing. They're run by another nonprofit partner of ours, Pillsbury United Communities. It's where the old Kowalski's used to be. But so there are options. There are more options than there used to be when we started this work. But you think about, like, how does it make you feel that you have to leave your community to get the products and things that you want? Like, it takes away a little bit of just like pride and dignity.
Well, this is food. This is just basic.
It's just a basic human right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a human right.
It's not like
exactly.
healthcare. It's just like food is like, yeah, we're not going to starve our communities, but we are poisoning our communities with where we choose to put certain businesses and certain other businesses. And stereotypes that people who live in communities like North Minneapolis aren't going to spend money on food, on real food, but like people are leaving to go to the co-op, leaving to go to, you know, Trader Joe's, leaving to go elsewhere to get the foods that they want and the products that they want. And yeah, I think there's a lot of breaking down of stereotypes that still needs to happen, but I think we're doing it one meal at a time.
Well, you're clearly having a very big impact.
Oh, thank you.
On this community.
Thank you so
It's very
much.
impressive.
Do you is there like a powerful story you can think of, like around someone that you've maybe impacted in the community, or I don't know,
It could be an individual or a family.
or
or
an
organization.
experience. We were just
Well, she'd probably be embarrassed that I would be bragging on her, but a young woman in our organization, and actually she's been published a few times recently, so I think you could even read some of her work. But Aaliyah Demry was recently on Angela Davis on NPR talking about Grow Food and Trapper Grow with one of our youth founders, LaTasia Powell. Both of them I would mention just because they're both incredible young women. And through the program that Latasia helped build, because she was the teenage daughter of my co-founder when now she's 22, 23. Can't keep track these days. But Aaliyah came into our program and was like joking about, not joking, but she was saying she wanted to be a rapper, and Latasia was laughing at her. And then she, started growing food and doing community cooks workshops and going through high school and learning that like she really likes telling stories and capturing images and doing social media, and she's kind of like an influencer amongst her peers. And so started working with our communications manager on our team to like learn more about journalism and PR. Then we connected her to the journalism 360 journalism program at St. Thomas. So she got to do this mentorship and class program around writing real pieces of journalism. And so she's actually now published. She's done a few pieces online for local publications, the Star Tribune, a couple of other things, and she's getting a scholarship to go to college.
That's amazing.
And is like going to go into marketing and communications. So, and she's still a rapper. Like she's the screaming hot Cheetos and Takis, boy, you better eat your broccoli. Fake food is kind of lame, putting poison in your brain.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
Need more people at the club, dropping bottles of that water. Anyway.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and she's the one who mentions Michelle Obama and her efforts about getting healthy food in the school. But then for the Trapper Grow song, she's also like the lead, the first female. She opens the song. If you see it, she does the first verse. Okay. But
that's a great story.
Yeah, she's and she. It's not like she was like gonna end up being in a gang or not graduate from high school. But I think like she really found a family at AFC, found guidance, got into the right path for her for the area that she wants to excel in. And I think we meet people where they're at. Like not every kid wants to go to a four-year college or needs to go to a four-year college. And there's a lot of really high-paying, well-benefited jobs that you don't need those degrees for. And if that's a path that kids want to take, or if they want to go into food service and wait tables, I mean, I made good money as a server.
Right.
And things are changing because a lot of people are eliminating tips, and there's more wage parity now between cooks and servers. That's a whole other story. But yeah, young people in their first jobs can learn a lot of great skills, thinking on your feet, having a long memory, customer service, cooperating with coworkers in stressful situations. I mean, restaurants and food service is a really great first job. And apparently 1 in every 2 of your listeners, 50% of this country, has had a job in food service. Let's see if it works.
I have.
I have.
I have not.
But 2 out of 3 is even more than 1 out of 2.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So if people are interested in volunteering, getting involved, donating, how should we direct them, or how do you want to direct people?
Well, there's so many different ways that you can get involved with Appetite for Change because we do have a lot going on. I will remind folks that if you are interested in catering, we do large and small events, weddings, galas, box lunches, breakfast meetings, 10% off breakingbreadfoods.com/catering. if you mention the Art of Living Well podcast, and you can fill out a form on the website for that. There, we take donations on our website. That's afcmn.org. Stands for Appetite for Change Minnesota. Watch the Grow Food video. And yeah, we would love to have you come to a Community Cooks to learn about what we're doing. Those are on our events page on the Appetite for Change website. Community night is every other Wednesday, so that would be the first entry point for someone to get to know us. The Café, Breaking Bread Café, will be open, so head over there. And Station 81, head over there we have great happy hour. It's a full bar, so there's like cocktail specials and food specials. You can also keep an eye out when you think about or hear about food issues and food, hunger, food banks. Think about how you hear about food in a charitable way. Is it like just feeding people a meal? and think about all the ways that food touches our lives and how transportation issues and environmental issues and economic issues. Think about all the people who, can't stay home sick because they may be sick and can't lose a paycheck because they're working in the food industry, but they might be sick, and we don't, what are we going to do for those folks? So food touches every part of our life. There's a really cool series that's not a plug for Andrew Zimmern, but it is a really good show on MSNBC, What's Eating America. And it's looking at addiction, environment, immigration, all different issues through the lens of food. And I think that the more people that look at the world that way will kind of think differently and maybe choose to get involved politically for somebody who's talking about some of these issues that food affects. So.
Wow. Well, that's great. Thank you. So one final question we like to ask all of our guests is, what does the art of living well mean to you?
Yeah, I think that the art of living well to me right now means how we spend our time really matters, and the people we spend it with, the things we choose to do or not do, and how we treat our minds and our bodies is so important. And we spend 99.99% of our time with ourselves and our dreams when we're asleep. So we got to take care of us. Take care of the one body that we have in this one life.
That's beautiful. And this maybe goes to a little bit, you can share with the listeners the
mini sabbatical slash
taking.
Extended vacation. Yes, when you listen to this, I will not be allowed to go to Breaking Bread for the opening because I will be taking a break and letting my team celebrate and do all the things that they do best. To get the cafe open, and I will be rejuvenating. This is something that I've been working on with my board and my co-founders and my leadership team and all my colleagues for almost a year. So that's, it happened within a year, so I'm happy about that. But really trying to reconnect with myself, cook, throw some pottery. I make mugs and sort of vases.
That's so awesome. Well,
and be with my kids and spend time with the people, like I've been working so hard for so long. So I'm going to try to, I know my definition sounded good. I'm going to try to live out that definition over the next 6 weeks, and then I can report back.
Perfect.
Well, we wish you an amazing 6 weeks off, and we hope that you find, balance.
Yes.
So that when you do re-enter and go back to work, you can maintain that sense of balance. And that was the one
word that I was thinking of when I was thinking of the art of living well. I was like, well, it's just balance.
Yep.
Doing the things that are meaningful to you, that give you energy, connecting with the people that you want to connect with, and spending your time how you want to spend it, but in balance, really.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we wish you the best.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun. This was fun.
Yeah.
And have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Thanks for listening.
Hey, Stephanie, can you believe that the average mass-produced bottle of wine can contain up to 16 grams of added sugar?
I know, that's crazy. That's more than a glazed donut.
Whew, which kind of grosses me out. But anyway, we're so excited because we finally found clean crafted wine that we enjoy, that tastes good, and we don't feel like crap the next day.
I am loving these Scout and Cellar wines. We've tried several of the different types, and all of them taste good, like Marnie said. And we love the fact that there's no added sugar. They're free of chemicals and pesticides. They're grown with organic grapes and sustainable farming practices. And they have very low sulfites, which are one of the things that can often cause the headaches the next day.
And, it's summertime, it's patio season. It's so nice to just get outside. If you enjoy having a glass of wine, we are super excited to be part of Scout and Cellar, and we do have our online shop.
So you just head on over to www.scoutandcellar, that's SCOUTAND, CELLAR.com/theartoflivingwell. You can have clean crafted wine delivered to your door.
Thank you so much for listening to the Art of Living Well podcast. We are so grateful that you joined us today.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend or anyone else you think may benefit from this information. We'd love for you to subscribe to our podcast, leave us a review, and tag the Art of Living Well podcast on social media.
If you want more inspiration in between episodes, you can find us on social media at theartofliving_well on Instagram and Facebook, where we will share snippets from our daily lives and our journey to living well.